Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Echo Casters. This is Echo Kraft presenting you with another new podcast called Echo Kast. We talk about synthesizers, music and technology, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Tonight, unfortunately, I do not have a sparkling ice. I have a Nestle Splash Berry. Cheers. All right. Unfortunately, Zach can't make it tonight. He has the flu, which kind of stinks for him, huh? Got a flu shot myself today. Don't want that to happen. But anyway, so if you guys have been keeping up with things on the internet and in Sonic State and places like that, you will notice that there was a little ditty that was rolled out by Moog called the Moog One. The Moog One synthesizer, which is a polyphonic synthesizer. There's an 8-voice and a 16-voice. The 8-voice is a lovely $59.99, so that would be almost $6,000. And the 16 voice is around $8,000. It's $79.99. Right now, it is being exclusively sold and pre-ordered through Sweetwater. I haven't seen it on Guitar Center's site or anybody else's. Sweetwater is the only one that actually made the announcement with Moog. I'm very excited to see this synthesizer. I love Moog instruments. I have a couple of Moogs myself. I don't know if you guys can see them, but you've probably seen them in the tour, studio tour that I did. But, you know, at first when I heard the price, I was kind of like going, geez, this thing is huge. It's way too expensive. What is Moog thinking? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then I was listening to Sonic State today and listening to Mr. Ty Unwin, or Unwin, hope I'm pronouncing his name properly. And Ty actually said something interesting. He said, is the synthesizer, is it expensive, or is the synthesizer not something I can afford? I mean, I can afford a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff in my studio right now. Is it a flagship synthesizer? Well, yes, it is. You know, DSI instruments, or DSI sequential now as they're called, they're flagship synthesizers. They're expensive as well. Or, like Ty said, they're not attainable by someone like me right now. Would I be able to afford something like this? I think I would. I think anybody who wants this is going to probably make things work so that they can purchase one. I already know that Marshall Arnold said that he has already got his wallet out, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is a synth that you'll probably have for years and years and years. I don't know how long I'm going to have a Mini Logue. I don't know how long it's going to last. It could last years. The build on it could be great. I don't know how long I'm going to have, you know, a Moog Mother 32, you know, less expensive synthesizers is what I'm getting at. You know, Ty had made a comment saying, well, you might have those synths for another 2 or 3 years or maybe 10 years and then they'll die on you. Nobody knows. Nobody really knows that. The flagship synth like this one, and I keep looking at the monitor. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I keep looking at the monitor and I keep looking at the synthesizer itself, and it's gorgeous, you know, there's no question. It's a beautiful synth, you know. And it's got, I can't even read all the specs to you. It would take almost the whole show to read the specs to you on this thing. It's basically 3 synthesizers in one, all independent, all individual. Apparently you can do 3 different sequencers or arpeggiation. It's just incredible. Again, would somebody like myself buy something like this? I would love to if I could afford to buy something like this. And I'm not saying I can't. I'm not saying that I want to. I'm just saying that it's, in today's market, it's reachable, it's attainable. Those of us who, you know, are fortunate enough to have decent jobs and things like that, I could probably buy something like this. It would probably set me back a while. Why, I don't know. Why would I want something like this? Well, I'd probably have it for the rest of my dying life. But, you know, everybody, I was on that bandwagon. I was like, geez, this thing's really expensive. This is crazy. Moog is crazy. What are they thinking? And, you know, it would be nice if it was a little less expensive. But is it expensive? And that's the question. And I know I keep going back to that, because the way they had talked about it on Sonic State today is it didn't seem like it was that expensive after he got done doing his little spiel about it. And he also said that he has already ordered one. It's on pre-order, and he's getting a 16 voice. And, you know, and that's Ty. That's what he does. He does a fantastic job. He works for, what do you call it? He works for the BBC and writes music on the BBC, you know, for all different types of shows and stuff. So he can afford to do that. Maybe someday I'll have a gig doing that myself. I don't know. But, you know, it is a beautiful synthesizer, and just looking at some of the specs on it, apparently you can hold a ton of different presets and build presets. I'm looking at it right now. There's multis. It's just crazy. And the way this is set up here, it says panel focus. It shows you synth 1, synth 2, and synth 3. Keyboard controls. It's just nuts, man. It's got to be the coolest looking thing I've seen in a while. And it looks like it's built solid. Beautiful, beautiful wood. You know, what else can I say about this thing? And again, it's Moog. You know, Moog hasn't done anything like this, I believe, since 1975. I believe. I could be wrong. I'm known to be wrong. But yeah, so I mean, you know, I love synthesizers. I love the way they sound. I love the things that you can do with them. You know, I've been dabbling deeper and deeper into synthwave, 80s type synthwave, because there's so much great sounds in 80s synthwave, and the synthesizers that were used to accomplish that stuff back in the 80s were the ones that we're all sought after now. You know, everybody wants this stuff, and there is a plethora of instruments out there now. Plethora, however you say it. They're out there. There's a lot of them, and they're at your access. And you know, I also had jumped on the bandwagon of saying, well, I'll wait for the you know, for the Moog One clone to come out by Behringer. You know, and I got poo-pooed on that one. I like Behringer. I own a DeepMind 12. Love it. I'm looking at a Model D. I'm looking at a Neutron. I own several pieces of Behringer equipment. I like Behringer stuff. I think Behringer cloning everything all the time is kind of crazy. I think the Neutron and the DeepMind 12 are cool because they're original by Midas and Behringer engineers, and they're very cool instruments. The Model D is spectacular. I know people that own them, and they love them, you know. But and if Moog, I mean, if Behringer ever came out with a Poly Moog Model D, I don't know why they would. There's the DeepMind 12. That's their Poly Moog. That's their Poly synthesizer. Who knows? They might. The prices has dropped on these things too. I noticed. This was $1,000. The tabletop model was $899, and the Behringer DeepMind 12 8 voice was dropped down to $499. So this one I picked up when it was still $1,000 for $699, and now that is the running price for it. So I know the prices have gone down on this. I don't know what Behringer has up their sleeve. I don't know what they're going to come out with. But yeah, I mean, the Arturia Matrix Brute behind me, that one's still, if anybody can see that, that one is still, I love that synthesizer. I was doing stuff with that today. That one is still pricey. It's still up there around the 2000s. Great synth, you know. So what's another $3,000 for a Poly Moog, a Moog One, right? Well, $3,000's $3,000, man, you know. But anyway, so, you know, and another thing that was raised today, you know, on that podcast that I was watching was also the fact that, you know, what how much gear do you really need, right? Like, I mean, expensive gear, that is. I mean, I've seen guys do stuff with, you know, a couple of synthesizers, a couple of even the Volcas. The Volca range is awesome. You know, I've seen people do some great stuff with that. So, I mean, do you need to purchase something that's, you know, $8,000 to come up with great music? I don't believe you do. You know, that's just my take on it. You know, there was some other things in the world. I came across something very interesting the other day. I was watching somebody's YouTube video, and an ad came up for this thing called Aero drums. And I'll just call them up here on the computer. And, you know, Aero drums are interesting. You know, we went from an $8,000 synthesizer to this $199 Aero drum, which I just find fascinating. I'm a drummer. That's how I started.
One part music,
and
Wonderland.
I just called up the Aero drum. Here it is here. This girl is, what's her name? Let's see. Her name is Christina Shano. And right now she's playing these drums. That's pretty cool. They're not drums. They're just sticks. I don't know if anybody's heard of these things, Aero drums. I know they've been out for a little while, since I think 2014 or 2015. And they're basically like these little things that you wear. I'm going to turn this down a little. You wear reflectors on your feet, and you have these drumsticks that have these big round reflector balls on the ends of them. It comes with a camera and a light, and you plug it into your computer, and you can basically use any, like I use Easy Drummer and Superior Drummer sometimes. You could also use your drum machines to trigger it. And she's going through it, and it's actually pretty cool. I was blown away by it. And if you don't have a house with a room, or you live in an apartment like I do and you don't have any room, basically, you know, you can practice right in your apartment at 3 o'clock in the morning and nobody's going to hear you. You know, how cool is that, right? So, you know, the thing is I saw this for $199, and I said, you know what, I think I'm going to give this a shot. And I think it's kind of cool. So I actually might check them out. I might buy it for, you know, $199 and see what it's like. See what the return policy is on it, because if I don't like it, I'd probably want to get my money back on it. But yeah, man, I just think it's the coolest thing. I would love to use it just to do some quick one-offs. I mean, I see people using these and doing some pretty fancy stuff with them. You know, and I guess that's cool. But from what I was checking out this guy. I don't remember the name of his channel. He's really cool, but he reviews all kinds of electronic drums. And he said there's definitely a learning curve. he said, you're going to have to learn because there's nothing there. You're just playing air. And there's no surface to give you rebound or bounce anything off of it. And he said there's definitely a learning curve behind that because you're not actually hitting anything. So he said it might take a few, attempts at setting up the kit. It comes with software. You can only download it if you buy the package. It gives you a little card with a code on it. But it looks pretty cool. Like I said, it's getting rave reviews. A lot of people think it's awesome. So I really don't know. Like what else there to say about this other than it looks really cool. And I'm probably gonna buy it and play with it and see what happens. If anybody out there wants to check it out, it's just go to aerodrums.com on their website. There is also, let's see. Yeah, if you go and look at this Aerodrums on YouTube, you can actually check out the videos. Check out Christina's videos, really cool. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. It's Christina Shiano. But yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I think it's neat. Again, it could be a gimmick. It could be crap. It could be stupid. We'll see what happens. And when I get them, I'll probably do a demo on YouTube. And if it works, great. I can incorporate it into my music. I have a full-blown V drum kit by Roland. Big pads, cymbals, the whole 9 yards. The mesh heads. It's an older brain. I'd like to update the brain, but I mean the thing is I got to drag that out, set it up. It's got this great big rack. With these, I don't need to do that. I could just sit right here and just play right here at the desk. I mean, that's how crazy this is. If it's any good, it could be garbage, but I'm going to check it out and see what happens. Yeah, so, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about and really didn't have much time to put something together this evening because Zach, he called out sick on me. That happens. But I will tell you this. On the 11th, which is next week, we will be doing the podcast with Marshall Arnold on his YouTube channel. Very excited about that. And Mr. Cow Food is actually going to be on there as well. Hopefully Zach will be on with me. If not, I'm going to be doing it solo with those guys. And that's going to be around 9 o'clock Eastern time on YouTube. So I'm going to be on Marshall Arnold's YouTube podcast, or Tubecast as we call it. That should be pretty cool. So, yeah, going to have some fun doing that. I did ask you guys to send in some stuff on Instagram and on YouTube about what you guys wanted to see for content. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten a chance to do any new videos lately. I've been really busy with my other job. And I also have been doing other things. We'll be going to the AES convention 17th in New York City with Mr. Manny Hernandez from TMP Records, LLC. So that should be pretty cool. Just some things coming up. Going to be doing some videos and some photos of the AES convention. That should be pretty cool. But yeah, man. So, just trying to get things off the ground with Echo Kraft and Echo Kast. And I took the suggestions and I'm going to come up with some videos. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to do any. But I will be working on some new stuff. And hopefully that'll be happening within the next month. I'll have some new stuff up, maybe sooner. Who knows? But yeah, please check out Moog One by Moog Moog. I don't know. I always forget how to say it. Moog. Yeah. Check out the Moog One. Just see what it's like. There are a couple of synthesizers that I would like to check out, and I'm gonna try to get my ass into Boston at Guitar Center in Boston, because I know they have a Grandmother by Moog. They also have a Prologue by Korg, and they also have a couple of other little synthesizer thingies over there that I've been trying to get my hands on to play with and check out. And you know what? I'm just going to video this stuff in the store and just post it online and show you guys what I'm looking at. So stay tuned for the next podcast. Stay tuned for some more videos on YouTube. And everybody wish Zach a good get well soon. And I'll be seeing you guys hopefully on the 11th on YouTube or Marshall Arnold's channel. And that's Marshall with one L, not like the sheriff. Yeah, so everybody, have a good night. Peace.